Take a load off and grab a seat. Pull up a chair, prop up your feet. That's fine by me. Fine by me. Yeah. It's podcast time.
I hate macaroni and cheese. I hate it. Everybody's going to take that as an insult. I do not. I'm not team macaroni and cheese for sides. I don't like it. I think I had it too much growing up, and I'm sick of it.
Josh is the communist. Nick, you want to get it started?
Yeah, Josh used to stick his dick in Spam. This is Fine by Me Slumber Party episode. Late night here at the Fine by Me studios.
Yeah, Pod House.
I wish I was excited about it as Nick is.
That's kind of like a TikTok house, ain't it? It's a house where a bunch of podcasters sleep.
Yeah, only this one isn't worth millions.
Not yet. It is in. Not in money, but in other things.
Yeah. Okay.
Priceless. Some would say priceless.
That's where Josh parks his ass.
That's right.
So what are you doing? Are you trying to find?
I don't know. I was going to put like a background on there. Sudafud.
Well, we just got done watching the debate, fellas.
I'm exhausted.
It was tiresome.
But I tell you what, those are two great guys. Two nice.
I think they had
Young
good
men.
conversation. It was a lot.
Oh yeah, Waltz does look good.
How old's Waltz? Late 50s, probably.
I'm gonna guess 60.
What do you guess,
64.
Wes?
57.
I'm gonna guess 54.
I'm at
54.
64.
I don't know. I don't
Tim.
know.
Wes don't play these games, Josh.
He's not even fun.
Well, I can't even make it a.
He's 60 years old.
No, well, that's close. 57.
What'd you say, 64?
Yeah. Is the rule if you go over, you lose?
Yeah.
You're out. You
Price is
bust.
Right rules.
You bust. I'm about to bust.
That's what my kids say when they gotta pee. Like Melody peed in the floor the other day, and I said, "Why didn't you go to the bathroom?"
She peed in the floor. Did you wipe her? Did you wipe her nose in it and get her with newspaper?
I wish. I didn't think of that. I'll call you next time. I need some advice.
Did you put her face in it and say, "Don't you do that no more"?
She said, "I was busted." That was her excuse. She was busted.
Busting.
I'm like, okay.
All right.
My daughter's calling people sucker now. She'll say, "What do you mean, sucker?" I'm like, well,
Yeah.
"Is this an '80s rapper coming out of you?"
My kids will say, "See you later, sucker."
Yeah, she says, "Sucker." Mr. T.
No, yeah, it's Mr. T, but there's a movie. It's like see you again, sucker.
I don't know.
It's like a trilogy of. It's like this black guy that's kind of like a superhero type of dude.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
The Incredibles.
Shazam.
Shazam didn't exist. Oh no, it was Kazam. That didn't
Green
exist.
Lantern.
Green Lantern. Green Lantern did.
Kazam did exist.
Green
With
One with
Shaquille
Sinbad.
O'Neal.
There's a Sinbad one too.
There's a Sinbad one, and there's a
Shaquille O'Neal. Yep.
Yeah.
No, the Shaquille O'Neal one's Steel.
No, there's a Shazam too,
Yeah.
or Kazam, whatever.
Yes, there was. Look at this guy.
We'll get you a
What do they call
graphic.
it when
The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Y'all are getting crossed
it's
up.
got you, dude.
Dude,
They got a hold of you, bro.
they got you, dude. They got you.
Y'all
You
are getting
failed.
crossed up on your
We're not going to let you fall
I
for
bet
it.
you don't think. I bet you don't think Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia in it either.
Oh, I know it did.
Okay, well I know there
I'm
was a
aware that
I know
it
that there was a
definitely had
Shaquille
a
O'Neal
cornucopia.
genie movie.
Called Kazam.
No, there was not.
Yep.
Yeah, man. IMDb,
But
1996. There it is, dude. Read it and
It
weep.
just looks like a black guy smiling.
Well-
that
Korea.
could be anybody in Africa right now.
Oh my.
There's two of them. See, there's Sinbad and him.
I can't see that.
Well, either way, he can be a
It's because
denier.
he didn't want to see
He probably don't believe in the Holocaust either.
want to see it.
I don't.
No.
First 5 minutes, Wes. First 5 minutes. It's your rule. It is
Your
your
rule.
rule that you've implemented.
I tell you what.
The watchmen out there, and watch ladies, the watch they thems.
Yeah, it's probably more they thems on the YouTube panel for sure. I've never heard of that. I knew the Man of Steel, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, Steel.
Steel or whatever.
Well, yeah.
Whatever that was. I've never.
Do you remember? Was it Hancock or whatever? The Will Smith. Yes.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That was a
Like a
while.
drunkard.
Yeah, and his wife was Charlize Theron. They were like superheroes from like some other planet.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah.
That name rings a bell. but-
Charlize Theron? You don't know who that is?
Most people say Theron.
Oh yeah, I
Charlize
don't, Theron.
Wow.
I
I
mean,
mean, the
that-
name rings a bell. I just don't. I don't follow Hollywood actors that well.
I got you.
Unless they're like that big. I mean, like Shaq, yeah, for sure. Will Smith.
You know more about Shaq than you do, Charlize. You ever seen the movie Reindeer Games? Italian Job. Fucking
Once for both of them.
yeah.
I've never seen any of those either.
I got you.
Yeah, no.
I'm quite a bit of a Francophile, I guess. I watch a lot of movies. No, Francophile, a film like person.
Francophile.
Yeah, man, that's what it's called. A person's into
Isn't
films.
that like a
No,
like a film person's different than that.
you sure?
It's like a man. What is that word I'm trying to think of? I don't know. Gay.
Gay.
Similar to as of film buff.
A Francophile, somebody that loves France.
That's why I've never heard of
Oh,
that.
that sounds terrible.
It sounds okay. So also ultra gay.
Ultra.
Where's Pisa? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Is that Italy?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
Pisa's not a place.
because they all
It's a
lean.
person.
I don't know. I mean, like if you look at it from one way, it's leaning right. One other way is leaning left. These days, it's definitely leaning left because they're all the.
Cinephile is what it's called.
That's it.
Cinephile.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
Cinema.
You'll have to excuse
Base
me.
word cinema.
Audiophile.
Yeah.
Is big into records and stuff.
And when you're into petting stuff.
Pedophile.
Yep.
Nick asked us a little bit ago if we had a printer in the house.
Yeah.
By the way,
Your partner works from home.
she don't print shit though. Nobody prints nothing.
I guess not.
Your partner.
Your partner, sucker. Your partner, sucker.
What would she be printing? That she
Exactly.
needs?
I don't know.
What would he
Name
make?
tags.
That's a good question to ask this guy. Apparently, he knows. He's an expert.
I work from home and
Dude,
I go to the library and pay 10 cents a page for everything I print.
how much you printing? How much you usually printing?
Sometimes like 40. Like,
Why don't you buy you a printer
like
then?
$4 worth.
You can get a printer for like $20 now,
I've
can't
got
you?
one
Why do you-
in my office.
It's the ink is what costs you. See, you get the printer, but the ink costs you $100.
Get 40 copies for $4. 40 copies.
Yeah, but you got to
$4
fuck with
worth
going
it
to the
every time.
library and doing all that shit.
10 cents a page.
Don't you worry about what I'm doing.
You can go to the Piggly Wiggly and print stuff off too for a nickel, I think.
No way.
Yeah, they got a copier.
No way.
Yeah.
So funny enough, it's so if you ever want to get a police report from somewhere and you go on their website and they say it's going to cost you a base amount of $5 and it's going to cost you 10 cents per page, that never happens. Even as an insurance company, every time that I literally have to go to all these police pages, and on every one of them they're like, it's going to cost you 20 cents a page, base price at like $7.50 for the whole thing. It's going to cost
cherry
you
cola.
$17 or whatever. Every time you just call them and they're like, yeah, we'll just send it to you. I don't do it.
We're going to break down those figures for you, all those math problems that just went out there.
And the next time you're looking for a police report online,
So,
reach out to
and-
Wes.
No, he's a PI.
Instead of just like listening to this website, don't do that. Just go in and pick it up.
Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, if you want to save $15, if it's worth it to you for $15 to get your police report, then go do it, I guess.
And also, don't forget,
But-
press that like, share, and subscribe button.
But because obviously I'm poor as hell, trying to save $15 on police report.
Right off on your taxes. And that's another thing. Write your congressman, okay, about all these issues. It doesn't matter if it's about how badly the waiting staff treated you at El Mazatlan. It doesn't matter about if the shopping carts were all put away at Walmart. Write your congressman. It's what they're there for.
El Potrero. Do you know like the biggest litmus test I think that there is? Litmus is not the right word. I don't remember the word that I'm looking for, but the best test of like who's a good person in this world, unless you're Josh and have a disability, is if you return.
An emotional disability
I'm talking about his leg.
of empathy.
I always take the cart
I'm
back.
talking about his empathy.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of that.
If you take your cart back, you're a good person,
Right.
Because there's no real side effects you don't have a side effect from not taking your cart back. Like, no one's gonna. You're not gonna break a law. You're not gonna fine for it. You're just a good person because you know that's what you should do. So the people that don't take their cart backs, you're just trash human beings. That's what I'm saying.
This is Wes's version of Mr. Rogers.
This is, yeah. And,
Take your fucking carts back,
Take
you
your
pieces
cart
of
back.
shit. Don't be a piece of
Like,
shit.
it's not that hard. What are you, lazy? I mean, if you're 650 pounds, yeah, maybe you should just have stayed at home and not. I mean, what do you want from me right now?
This is what Wes is.
I
This
don't know,
is.
buddy. We didn't ask. So we don't really expect much.
Just take your fucking cart back
Okay.
from a guy that was a cart boy.
Wes
I
is
don't know, 20
projecting.
years ago. Now.
Wes is projecting his feelings onto us about his carts.
Take your fucking cart backs. I do it every time.
What if you are okay? So, like, let me ask you this: I will use the ride-on scooter every once in a while, like if I'm tired or if it's Walmart sometimes. Because it's. But anyway,
you got one less leg.
So, but I will drive the cart out and unload the car,
Yeah.
and then drive the cart back in and walk back out. I take
mean,
it an extra mile.
That's a fantastic human being.
Man,
You're doing.
dude, I got a pound of back.
You're doing
Yeah,
the
you're
Lord's
doing the
work out
Lord's
there.
work out there.
I like to show off to the fat
But I
people
bet
on the
those
carts.
Cart wranglers,
Yeah.
I bet
Fuck
those
them.
cart wranglers are kind of excited when they see a hover round out there in the parking lot. Though they're like, "Fuck
Oh,
yeah!"
yeah, they
and
probably-
they race out there and they're like, "I'm driving it back this time, Jeremy."
Yep.
Truthfully, they really are.
Yeah, they are. They're excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Whenever I mean, like I was excited.
One of my favorite
the food line
things.
in Scottsville, we had like 4 of those cars.
Yeah.
So the few times that funny enough in Scottsville, it didn't get used that often. So when we did see that cart get used,
It's
or
like-
one of the carts get used, we were like, "Who's gonna get to drive it back?"
Man.
This is gonna be a big time.
It's gonna be big,
We
unless it's
rented-
almost dead and it
We rented
sucks.
a hover round at the casino when we went for my birthday to go skiing, and
When was that?
It was in January.
Last year, this
okay.
year, earlier
But
this year.
you can. They had like 40,
Yeah.
and half of them were rented. But you can just pay $20. Anybody can get one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people were bitching at us. You don't need that. And it's like there's a bunch more over
Yeah,
there.
you could just go get one.
Yeah.
It's carrying all my shit.
Yeah.
It's our pack mule.
And I'm having a blast with my buddy right now, and we're both riding it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with it in a situation like that.
I get prideful about using it. I think sometimes, like
Well,
sometimes I don't want to.
In like a public situation, not in a casino situation, but like in a casino situation, like if you walk up and you see there's like 20 of them, and you say it's like 9:30 p.m., like we're probably at the height.
Yeah.
And there's still 20 of them left.
Yeah.
Easy, and like, just get one of them.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not just grab one?
Um,
But every time you're in Walmart,
Our Walmart out here looks like a FEMA camp right now. They're redoing it. It's rough looking.
yeah, every Walmart ever's got like 2 that are charged.
Yeah.
Up. So maybe be a better person about taking one.
All right, so that's that, guys.
Okay, so we just got done watching. The debate. Wes seems pretty fired up. I think this might be fun. Okay, I'm gonna be a moderator, and I'm gonna ask y'all a couple debate questions.
Okay.
All right, and you're gonna have to take opposite polls, whether it's what you believe or not.
No, I can do that.
Okay, you're gonna have to take opposite polls.
All right.
So,
Wes can answer first.
Wes, you go first on this one. Josh will go first on the next
Okay.
question. Animal dissection. Wes, you are pro animal dissection. Josh, you are
Anti.
anti. Should K through 12 students dissect animals in science classrooms? Wes, your turn.
Absolutely, why not?
You have 56 seconds left.
I mean, like they're learning the anatomy of who not only those animals are, but who we are as people. So even frogs have long intestinal systems, just like we have one stomach. They have one stomach. They have this super long intestine situation. They got heart. They got lungs. I mean, it's the same as us to an extent. They don't have the same DNA. So maybe we should start cutting up monkeys. And that might be more accurate if we want to learn about ourselves. But it's still like these. It's not like they're killing these frogs with the intent on cutting them open. So Like, why not use them for educational purposes?
Great job, Wes. Now, Josh, Wes made a statement that said they're not killing the frogs. Do you believe these frogs are dying during? This is how the moderators I watch on. That's how they kind of.
First off, what I like to say is thank you for having me. I like to thank my opponent for being here, and I really appreciate this question. What I think my opponent's trying to say here is that he wants to disgrace the bodies of these poor animals that have died and sacrificed themselves. And I think not only is that inhumane, but
Wow, no one ever said that.
it is inhumane. But what kid before lunch wants to cut open a hairy ball that an owl
happened before lunch. Could have happened after.
has caught? Well, I didn't interrupt him, did I? Whenever he was answering his question, I didn't think I did. I gave him his minute and a half of nonsense. Not only is everybody in this room dumber for having heard what he said, but I award him no points, and may God have mercy on his soul. That'll be all.
All right. Now this question. First
I'll waive the rest of my
He said a
time.
whole lot of nonsense there. It made no sense. He didn't make an argument. All he did was attack me.
Senator Willoughby.
Garbage.
Senator Willoughby. It's your time is up. Josh, this question is for you. How do you feel about marijuana usage for children? And here's your time. Go.
I think that there have been studies that have shown that it does help with epilepsy. Not smoking it. I'm not saying that a child should smoke it, but if it does help with having seizures or certain different kind of neurodivergent illnesses or things, I say why not? You know, if it keeps them from suffering, I say go for it. They're already giving them opioids. They're getting them hooked on all sorts of barbiturates like Xanax and Valium. I say why not go all natural? It comes from the earth. It's not hurting nothing. They're not abusing it. It's been proven not to be habit forming. The only thing that I will say is that it does mess with your brain while you're developing, and you're not fully developed to around 24, 26 years old with your frontal lobe. But if they're already, having trouble and they need it, then they need it.
Wes, your opponent is pro-children drug use. How do you feel about children using marijuana?
What kids are taking Xanax? So I want to know. I don't know any kids that are taking Xanax. Maybe that's something that's happening in California. Because it ain't happening here. It ain't happening in Kentucky. It ain't happening in Tennessee. No one is taking these fucking, what do you call them?
Opioids?
Quaaludes.
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 Quaaludes were a thing in the fucking 80s.
Back when drugs were cool.
Yeah, I don't know who's taking fucking Xanax or benzos. Benzos is the word I was looking. I don't know who's taking benzos at 14 in Kentucky. It must be a California thing where Josh must love living.
Last I checked, California was part of the United States of America.
That doesn't happen here, and I think that if you want to smoke marijuana, you should be able to. But I think that it should come with an age restriction, just like
More
alcohol
rules and
does.
regulations.
18 years old, just like alcohol.
Alcohol's not 18 years old.
Alcohol,
Fact check this.
Alcohol should be 18 years old, is what I'm trying to say.
I
right
will
now.
say, if you can sign up and die for your country, you should be able to go get a
Don't
drink.
listen to him. He's lying. He does not believe that. He's just trying to fucking penny coat off of me or whatever the fuck you call it.
Piggyback.
Piggyback, penny coat.
Pennywise.
Ride my coattails is where I was trying to go with that.
Has it been a minute yet for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Dick to stop me.
I'm searching for the next question.
I was
This intermission is brought to you by Smith & Smith.
I was just fucking free.
Have you been corrupted by mainstream media? Contact Smith & Smith today. The only law firm dedicated to saving your, mental capabilities to
Should we
have a functional conversation.
should we tell them about our little behind the scenes project, our Smith & Smith little spinoff series we're trying to work on?
What was the documentary that I had a few months ago?
I don't remember that one.
Tutley will know.
I don't have my phone.
It was something about the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit against United Trinity Health.
Oh yeah, against the hospital.
Would we be able to get away with
When you say
Slur
we'll be able to get
terms.
away, it kind of makes me nervous.
slur terms if we are fighting against the slur givers?
I don't think that.
I think that was the whole point of that episode almost a year ago, that we were
I don't use slur terms.
fighting against those.
His
slur
words,
terms.
not mine.
And I still felt the need to bleep them because I don't think that it.
He's embarrassed.
Well, I just don't think that it's gonna.
But if it's
gonna last.
us against the racist,
that was the whole point of that ad
yeah.
back then, and it wasn't a good idea. Like we let that episode go, and I actually heard feedback from people that were like,
It made my stomach hurt a little bit. I didn't sleep that night.
Like that episode was up for a day.
That's
and
how I knew it wasn't
and
good.
We had people like,
Hey, I like what y'all are doing, but I really like what y'all are doing, but
hey, I do think it was hilarious, but it's probably not that funny too.
let's not right out the gate, guys. Let's get some footing first before we start really picking a lane here.
Yeah, so yes, I agree that even in that tone that we did it early on, it was not in an ill. We were not trying to be ill.
Mean-spirited or ill-willed. Nothing was bad. We were being. It was more satire.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of satire, but it was a little bit too much, and I think it might be too much for the next 5 to 6 years.
Quentin Tarantino gets away with a lot.
Yeah, well, that's a little different.
You know who that guy is.
Does he know who I am?
He
I've
got
got
to
some shit
lick
too.
tequila off.
Selma Hayek. I just watched that movie the other night, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
It's a good
I
one.
would love to be in that spot.
She doesn't age, man.
No, she don't.
She really doesn't.
She's probably.
She may have gotten better. She may have gotten better the older she's gotten. I tell you what,
Man.
Wes is in his feelings tonight.
He just told us that he went 3 weeks without busting one.
I know. As a
I'm
girl,
on 3 weeks without busting right now.
I ain't been 3 weeks since
No
busting
wonder
since.
you're
I ain't been
taller.
3 weeks busting since
I thought you were taller.
since 2000, probably one.
Yeah.
Bro, I am like y'all know that I broke up with a chick a couple months
Were you
ago.
heartbroken though? Is that
I
why?
was not at all. But
Disgusted.
oh, I wouldn't say that either.
I'm putting words in your mouth.
But either way,
Depressed.
Like to put more than that.
no, definitely not depressed. I've been much happier.
Pimps
but-
don't cry.
Big girls don't cry.
Pimps don't cry.
Hey, if y'all know a pimp out there, let me know.
No.
So,
Not on this podcast. Anyway, so you went 3 weeks without.
Ejaculating.
No, I was going to use
hey,
a little.
we're still on that 3 week. We're right now in it.
Jeez, dude. No wonder you look a little taller. Holding yourself up high.
Yeah.
We're
Your
in it.
posture. You have great
Your posture's great.
I am gonna
T
fuck
levels.
I bet your
later.
knees and joints feel lubricated.
We are having a slumber party tonight, and Wes is, I mean, to say the least, frisky.
I don't know. I would call it a slumber
I'm gonna
party.
set a camera up in this room.
I'm going to bed. Closing my bedroom door. Locking it.
Nick gonna come in there.
Y'all leave my cat alone.
I'm gonna crawl in there.
Yeah, we're crawling in there
Leave my
tomorrow.
pussy alone.
Maybe even tonight.
No, you won't either.
I've already crawled into Nick's bed once before.
Yeah.
I ain't Nick.
No, obviously not. I've been described as a giving lover.
You are a giver. I'm not. I'm a taker.
I think me and I crawled into Nick's bed, and I think me and him went back to bed for a little bit.
Yeah, we took that moment to
Y'all
Really
bonded.
form a friendship.
Y'all bonded.
really form a friendship.
Well,
So the debate, nothing really happened.
JD Vance brought back a term that I hadn't heard in a long time.
Aliens.
Illegal aliens.
Illegal aliens.
Haven't heard that in a while.
Um,
Because we've been talking about real aliens in the past few years. They've been real aliens they've
I
been
was
talking
really
about.
There wasn't one question about real aliens.
There really wasn't. I wonder why, man. There
You
isn't.
want people to watch your debate?
I
Ask
wonder
them
why.
the hard question.
How would you like? Could you imagine though if they were like? What do you think about the upcoming invasion or the not upcoming but inevitable invasion of the
They
aliens?
have planned.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, there's UFOs everywhere. We've been
Yeah,
talking
they're
about it
out
for
there.
3 years.
so there's funny enough, there's been like this
Nobody
big
talks about
object that has been sighted off of Alaska and off of something, Colorado, Boulder Mountain, Colorado. It's like this real strange looking thing, and it looks like another moon, to be honest. And there's also, on top of that, there is a asteroid that's going to come into that's like will. So the first thing I said,
It's going to orbit for like a month with the moon.
So the first thing I said could be bullshit, but the second thing I'm about to say is this thing that Nick's talking about that is going to come into our orbit for about a month. That's going to be, quote unquote, a second moon.
It's just a big ass asteroid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it going to hit us?
Hopefully not.
No, it's going to come into our orbit, follow the moon,
circumcise the moon,
and then get slingshotted back out somehow.
Yeah. Damn, dude, who's gonna slingshot out the weather systems?
No, it's in the
Probably
orbit.
Matt Damon.
It's in the orbit of
That's a wild movie, The Martian.
Asteroid belt.
Elk's Nuts or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's not Rocky Mountain Oyster.
It's part of the Elk's Nuts galaxy.
It's part of the Elk Nuts Lodge.
Wow.
You been to Moose Lodge before?
No.
Up north, they have like moose lodges, like American Legion or VFWs down here. They have like a moose lodge. It's like a gentleman's club. Yeah, it's just dudes, old dudes get together and get drunk.
You know I hate the Gideons.
What are the Gideons?
Do you want to work through that, or do you want to continue hating them?
They're as bad as the Masons.
You got to get that evil up out of you, dude. That's what it is.
They're as bad as
That
the
negativity is going to follow you in the rest.
That
of the
negativity is going to
rest
come
of the
out
podcast.
everywhere.
If y'all want to support the Gideons, that's fine.
I don't support nothing.
But the
Who the fuck are the Gideons?
The Gideons and the Masons are the same people.
Okay.
Gideonites were an army in the Bible. I don't really know anything else about them. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, fuck the Gideons.
Okay. I'm with you.
Good.
Blind
all they
loyalty.
do is ride around these little fucking cart things because it's like one of their little ritual things.
Yeah.
Like the
The Shriners?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Dude, no, the Shriners are good. They give like the kids hospital. They do a bunch of good shit.
Oh yeah, same with the St. Jude that funnels all that money into political people's pockets.
I thought St. Jude was the good one.
No.
I thought you were talking about
No big hospital is a good one. I mean, they do help some people.
that commercial I seen with that little boy.
They could help immense more people if they didn't funnel like 80% of their donations into politician pockets.
You heard it here, folks.
That's got to be all true.
Yep.
I mean, come find me.
Check the books.
Come find me. Come find me, Shriners.
Quote him.
St. Jude. St. Jude, are y'all Jews?
Speaking of
If you're
Tarantino,
Jews, I bet you probably did steal all that money.
speaking of,
I bet you fucking did.
We're gonna-
Israel.
we're gonna pivot back to
Israel just got attacked today
the
because they needed to get attacked. Iron Dome finally failed, and they got hit by a bunch of hypersonic fucking rockets.
What's a hypersonic? What's the difference between a hypersonic and a supersonic? Is supersonic slower?
It's faster.
Hyper's faster.
Hypersonic's faster.
Okay.
And it gets past the fucking Iron Dome.
Iron.
Wes is hypersonic right now.
He is.
Fire.
I'm letting him hang
Israel.
himself.
Yeah. Are we responsible?
I don't even care about Gaza. I don't care about Israel. I don't care about any of them people. Let them burn themselves both to the ground.
I don't think many of my customers really would care. Like, actually, they would not care. They would be like, "Yeah, I don't care what you say."
I just
on
don't
my
know
podcast, just
nothing
clean
about
my
it.
house."
I don't know nothing about it.
Good.
Really.
I don't care.
They're gonna cut Josh's disability check.
They're gonna take my leg from
Having to
me.
hear
They're gonna take
this
my
shit.
leg away.
I mean,
That's all they could do. If somebody could really get me, that's all they'd have to do.
I want to build you a peg leg bad. How do I get one of those sleeves?
That
Do
is
you
for
have one of
sure
those
something
extra
that
sleeves
Jews
I
would
can
do.
have
They
so that
would
I can?
take
This?
Josh's leg.
I don't know. How do I? If I were to build you a wood peg leg,
It would have to be comfortable up here, though, for me to wear
well,
it.
I can't promise that.
Well, that's the whole point of wearing it. You don't want it hurting you, you know?
Just don't feel the pain.
This is carbon
Ignore
fiber.
the pain,
Can you make carbon fiber?
like the rest of society has done for the last 6,000
I got a pretty
years.
high tolerance for
Since
that.
the Earth was formed 6,000 years ago.
It's been way more than 6,000 years.
Were you there, buddy?
No.
There's scientific proof proves otherwise.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
There is not, dude.
Do
The
your
Earth
own
is.
research, buddy. What are you going to listen to? These people that have lied to you your entire life?
It's like you're listening to King James. That's it. Nothing else.
Listen to these people that have lied to you your entire life.
Y'all let me go. I'm letting y'all go.
I think that. Well, what about dinosaur bones?
Dinosaurs lived with humans. There are fossils, a feet track of dinosaurs and human feet track, all in the same riverbed.
Is this before Is this while we were still monkeys before we evolved into what we are now?
I don't believe in evolution.
I know. I'm trying to get you riled up. You're not falling for it.
No. I've been trying to work on my arguments.
You're doing good.
That's part of
Being an adult.
ministering. You have to try to figure out these debate topics. You have to try to figure out how to make the arguments.
So, but why do you have to like fall into what other people think of? Like what? Like so? Why can't you believe that things are much older? Like why do you have to stick to the 6,000 year thing or whatever?
I struggled with that for a long time, and I had the belief for a while too that, you know, when God said He made this in one day, why couldn't it be that one day represented 1 billion years? Because time is irrelevant to God.
Well, no, and it's literally, I think it's Genesis 5 or Genesis 6 that He writes in the book that 1 minute to us is 1,000 years to God, and 1,000 years to God is 1 minute to us.
I saw a video about that earlier this week, but I can't remember.
It's not a video;
exactly
it's
what
in the
it said.
Bible. But yeah,
I saw a video about that topic earlier this week, and I can't remember what that guy said.
Who wrote
It
the
was a good
Bible?
point.
lots of people.
About
I know that.
There's
but
several
like,
books.
yeah.
I know that. But like, who was like the overseer? Who put it together?
God.
The Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, it's an accumulation of like over
God made the book.
60
God,
authors.
So the whole thing of it is God commanded these people to write down their views,
He was
Their
speaking-
prophecies
he
and
was
their
speaking to them
their
through the Holy
prophecies.
Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were prophets, I guess you'd say.
Or the apostles or
Yeah,
the
apostles.
disciples.
So like they were decided like because like the Bible's in order, more or less it's in order. The books are in order.
Yeah, technically.
Technically.
Yeah.
So like that was already like an outline.
So what?
So like God put this outline together for this book. This
I don't think it was even like an outline based on what I gather of it. At least I think it's just it's like a
collection.
history-
It's a collection of.
collection of books. I don't think it's any because I know there's things in consonants that happen before things that happen in Psalms or vice versa. There's several things that don't line up, and they're not. I don't think they're supposed to. But those are both Old Testament books that we're technically not supposed to worry about anymore.
The Old Testament.
Well, I mean, it depends, I guess, what religion you're about. But Old Testament's just supposed to be a set of like lessons and whatnot, and not necessarily supposed to be what you follow.
Yeah,
as-
it's
What you
the
live
Old
by.
Testament is a history of the earth and a history of people,
Yeah.
and the New Testament starts when Christ was born.
yeah.
And so when Christ was born, there was a new covenant between God and the people. See, back in the Old Testament, you would have to make sacrifices and you would have to follow all these rules, which the Jewish religion still follows.
Okay.
And like your dietary restrictions and all that stuff.
Kosher and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
But Christ,
Halal.
yeah, but Christ is the ultimate sacrifice now, so we don't have to sacrifice animals.
So we can eat whatever we want.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
just don't overindulge. and
Right.
be
Well, yeah, that's
gluttonous.
anything.
In
Mormons don't drink or do nothing.
the Jews in their Bible.
Yeah.
Aren't they Christian?
They believe that I believe they believe that Christ was like one of the Holy Trinity.
I got
God,
you.
Christ and the Holy Spirit is the Holy Trinity.
Because we've been watching.
Yeah,
Christy was Mormons.
Mormons.
We were watching the Mormon Housewives or some shit on Hulu. Man,
It's like an auto or whatever.
drama, just like a reality show. Just
Mormon.
yeah, 8 rich women.
Yeah, that Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith. Yeah, they're all
What
about
was
it.
He was 14 when he wrote all that.
Yeah, young guy found a
Yeah.
golden tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
the whole Book of Mormon?
Yeah.
Where it's like there's a spaceship situation.
Well, he went like the woods and he found this thing or something like a conquest, something
I have
like
a
that.
friend that's Mormon, so I have a very close friend that's Mormon, so I have trouble like stomping on it. I've had a lot of conversations with him about how silly that religion is.
I just know like what I'm getting at with that though is there's so many spin-offs. Like, are all these different spin-offs of Christianity going to the same version of heaven? You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying.
Are you talking about the different like between Baptist and Protestant?
Church of Christ, Mormons, any of that. Methodist, whatever. Presbyterian, non-denominational, all that. They all follow the Bible, right? Pretty much. So,
Go ahead.
Really,
this is your realm.
Really, heaven. The only way to get to heaven is through Christ. It doesn't matter
Your soul.
what you do on earth. It doesn't matter about your acts of service. It doesn't matter how much money you give.
If you're a sweetheart to everybody, a giver, a charitable person,
yeah. So
you still have to give
it
your.
doesn't matter. If you lay it all down and get. And some people have a debate on whether you actually have to get baptized or not, because I've got a lot of buddies that were in service and they were in the middle of the desert and they didn't have any water to get baptized. They turned their lives over to Christ and claimed Him.
They just got saved
and died in battle the next week. And like I've got buddies that are like, "You're telling me my brother that I fought next to isn't in heaven?"
Yeah, that's what I stress. I wonder about that too.
Yeah, I think that's all symbolic.
Well, I think the older we get, the more people we know pass on. They die.
Yeah.
So I think about that, because you do want to see them again. If that's what you believe. If you're a Christian, you believe you're going to see them again in heaven. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder if there may be a different denomination, like if they're Church of Christ or Mormon or whatever. Like
most of that is just the only difference. Mostly is just how they worship.
I got you.
And it's just how you like to worship. Do you like hymns with no instruments? Do you like a rock band with fog machines? Do you...
Now I'm going to pivot off of Christianity here.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
So, I do agree with Nick in the sense of a lot of churches are either piano and choir or they're rock band and choir.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Yes, good. Cola.
But there is a big difference. I think it's General Baptist versus like Missionary Baptist, which is the two that I'm most.
The best position.
Well, no, they're my two that I know the most about because I grew up Missionary Baptist. My uncle was a General Baptist. I think it was General Baptist. Preacher. So Missionary Baptist was if you laid down and you prayed and you got saved, that was it. You were saved for the rest of your life.
Right.
There wasn't nothing taking that back. General Baptist, pretty sure. So if I'm wrong, somebody can tell me that. But my uncle was General Baptist, so he believed you could get saved and you could lose that. And I just don't. So that's one of the biggest. I'm commenting on that because of something Nick said, and I don't remember what it exactly was that Nick said, but that's one of the biggest difference between denominations for me was because one way you can lose your salvation and one way you couldn't. And so me growing up, like the reason that I didn't believe that the other way was because why would God make a mistake? Why would God save somebody that if he was real and all-knowing and whatnot, like why would he make a decision that he knew he was going to take back at some point?
Right. I got you.
Which decision was that?
Saving the person.
Yeah.
At some point after saving that person, they did something that he would have to take it back.
Yeah.
I guess there's really a lot of like individual reflection and stuff a lot too with that stuff, like how you
it
worship.
Really is. I mean, I grew up in a very small town in Scottsville,
right?
So,
yeah, I mean, like here, it's the same thing. I mean, you got usually it's your grandpa's buddies are the preacher and the deacons at the church you go to, and you're listening to everything they teach you at home, and then when you do get a little older and you're like, well, hey, you got questions. So that's why I do. I grew up in church, but I have so many questions about a lot of things too. I want to believe in like the faith and that stuff, but sometimes I have a hard time because I'm contrary anyway. So I'm like, well, how do you explain this? But a lot of times it does come if you want to look into it. A lot of it can come full circle, just as all what you want. Perspective, really.
Yeah, I was like, people that are listening that know me for what y'all know me on the podcast, like I go to church every now and then at this point in my life, but I have had so many contrarian things to say about the church. Like, one of my biggest things was there is a, I'm not going to be able to quote it. There's a portion in the Bible that says, whenever you go to heaven, there'll be no tears in heaven.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's an Eric Clapton song.
Yeah, it is. He wrote about his son dying.
Yeah, that's literally a verse in the Bible. And I was like, why would I not miss, like, my parents? Why would I not miss my friends? I would obviously miss them, and I'd have tears for them. And it also goes on in those verses to say that you wouldn't know anybody in heaven.
Right.
So that's terrible.
Well, those are all words from people. You know, if those are from a hymn, but there's also
Well, it's not a hymn.
There's also,
there's
also verses talking about.
We could for sure do a whole episode on this. I don't want to go on a super tangent on this right now.
I was going to say, though, like, to pick up that a minute ago, like, what about the other religions that have God and, like, Moses? Like, they share, like, the Islamic religion.
But it's not a hymn that I'm trying to say. It's a literal verse that I'm going to think of. I will, like, if we want to come back to this at some point, I will for sure do it, and I will get the verses ready for you and whatnot. It just came to mind for whatever we were talking about. So we will revisit this at some point. That's fine.
But if, like, all the other religions, like, obviously Buddhism believes in Buddha, right?
Yeah.
So Hindu is whatever that God is. I don't want to mess it up. But, like, Islam and Christianity, they share a lot of the same people. You know what I mean? Like, Moses is, and also in Judaism, Moses is in all three. You know what I mean? Like, in all three of the.
Islam's Muhammad.
Yeah, so like
Muhammad is a prophet.
Right.
He's not actually like a deity.
So is it the same God though that
But
the
is
Christians?
he the main guy for Islam?
But he's just a prophet. He never. They don't claim to him to be like Christ claims. His claim is that he is one with God. He is God.
Right.
Is,
it's his son.
well, when they say,
But wait, what we were talking about within Islam.
yeah,
Is that
Muhammad's just a prophet. He never claims to be God.
Well, what about Abraham?
Within-
Abraham's big in Islam too, right?
Abraham is the father of the 12 tribes. So like
Yeah.
Judah, Israel. All
Okay,
of it.
okay.
Yeah.
The Israelites and the Palestinians, all them, like that part of the world, I guess. Like, would that
Yeah, there were 12 original tribes where all of that.
Wu Tang? The RZA, the Jizza, old dirty bastard himself.
There's a big thing about there being a 13th tribe.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, there are a lot of other civilizations out there.
Mesopotamia,
But those were the 12 that came.
the cradle of civilization.
Yeah, those were the 12 that like came from Egypt.
So like what I'm asking though, really, is that the same God that is like Christian?
I think so. He was actually back then. He was referred to as Yahshua.
Yeah, cool name.
I think there's only one.
I don't know if Allah.
God, like
That's just a
God-wise.
name for God,
And-
Allah.
Who we praise is the God of Abraham. So like the Jews and Christians worship the same God, but Jews don't recognize Christ as
Because the
a
Messiah hasn't been here
Jew.
yet.
But all 90% of different religions, Buddha and all that, they all recognize Christ. One, that he definitely did exist, and most of them claim that he is a way to heaven, but their prophet or their deity is another
Way,
to
a different path.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
that's
in-
what I was
it's-
asking.
It's in the Jewish. They're, what do you call the thing?
The Torah, whatever, what is it called?
Torah.
Quran? No, Quran's Islam.
Yeah,
Quran's Islam.
No, it's something that starts with a T, but it's literally in their Bible that like Jesus is in hell and he's like being tortured to this
Yeah, I mean,
day.
if you were a blasphemer, I mean, that's the only way for you to go. So that's what faith is, right? Faith is literally just, I have faith in something. I believe this. So faith is just believing that Christ's claims were what he
The
claimed.
Torah.
And it's just it's
Torah,
a game, you know?
There's been a lot of people peeing on Torahs on Twitter
Torah.
lately.
Golly.
Really?
Yeah, lighting them on fire and whatnot. Yeah,
We ain't about that. Burning books. I don't want to burn any books.
people are not big fans of Jews these days.
I wonder why. That's a mess.
So
Conversation's a little bit of a mess.
Sorry. I won't argue with you there. I won't argue with you there one bit.
what?
I've been trying to keep it. I've been trying to pivot away. Every time he brings, whoa! I've been putting out fire. I've been putting out fires
Like an
over here.
oscillating fan over there.
Man. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving.
This is what happens late night.
I'm just trying to stay focused, trying to stay locked in.
What? Do you think Tim Walsh was locked in tonight?
Dude, I don't see how they hold them eyes open like that. They just like glare into the camera.
Yeah, both of them. Both of them. Fucking...
They was on Adderalls. They was dialed up.
Y'all got your Adderall?
No, man, I can't keep drugs. I'd do them if I had them. I can't keep them around.
Same.
They do make you feel good.
I just had to quit everything, you know.
So moving on, I guess, from that heavy ass topic.
It's interesting. I mean, that's just a cure. I mean, I think
I mean,
it's.
it is. I would really love to dive into.
When
it
you
a
start
little
getting up to
more.
around 60 episodes, you're gonna start talking about some serious shit every once in a while, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And like Nick said a lot of really interesting things that I would.
That's
really,
his. That's why I wanted to listen.
I would really like to prepare more for. I guess like all I did tonight was try to watch the debate that was god awful, as the last two were.
It's pretty
And
rough.
Josh did say earlier though, it was civil. They were both.
Yeah,
it would be
it was
so
art.
hard not to get.
It was there
Like,
was
visibly, you would be able to see.
You see it on me.
the frustration.
there
in
was
my
only
face.
one point whenever they had to go off mic, and
They were talking over each
and
other.
JD said, "Hey, y'all were not supposed to fact check me because y'all are not fact checking him."
And they rolled
And they
on.
Did that,
Yeah.
and you could hear him say that off mic, like he was obviously yelling it.
You're right. Whoever was over there, yeah.
Yeah, you could hear him say it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you're not going to fact check this other guy, like, you shouldn't do a 3-on-1 situation just like y'all did with the last one.
Yeah.
Big
Crazy.
D.
I'm not even, like, I'm not going to vote for either of them at all. I live in Tennessee. It's going to go red.
Yeah,
Regardless
here's Kentucky's
of
going to
what
go
I did.
red.
Whatever of what I do, I'm going to vote for my local constituents.
Definitely vote, but, you know,
Yeah,
we're not
vote.
saying don't vote,
I'm
but
not saying
I don't think we
vote.
have good choices
I
for
wish we would
president.
go ahead and put Rand Paul up.
I don't know about Rand. I would put
His
Ron
dad.
Paul
Yeah, his dad.
Rand
every day of the week.
Yeah.
They share. I mean, they're both very wise. They say
Rand Paul
The
got
most-
beat up by a guy on a lawnmower.
Yeah, I can't have him.
hey, it was a fucking surprise attack, okay, Wes?
He come through the hedges on his
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Came from the head.
This
Yeah.
man's listening to NPR on his headset on his zero turn.
He's probably listening to like some fucking yacht rock.
He's probably
Yeah,
listening
right.
to Fine by Me.
He may have been.
And Rand Paul, if you're out there listening, and we know you are. Thank you.
Wouldn't that be great?
Press
if
that
Rand
like
Paul-
and subscribe button.
Rand Paul, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. Are we at an hour 59?
What if we could
No,
get
we're
Rand Paul in?
probably 48 minutes.
Probably. If we can get Rand Paul.
After this episode, it's going to be our first Patreon. If y'all want to, if y'all want to subscribe
Might
and
have to be the Patreon.
no, this one's all right. This one will have a Patreon attached to it though. Our first one, we did it last night.
No, I don't care. Like, I don't. Anything I said, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
care.
stand on. I don't care.
Are we gonna write a Smith and Smith skit script after this?
I thought we did.
That one he
That's
had
the
was
difference.
for
It's
high
not for Smith
pressure-
and Smith.
High pressure, for like a blue collar
Yeah, it was just a little
TV
sketch. Yeah,
sketch.
like a
Okay.
dude
for,
comedy.
for a pressure
Like a
washing
dude
company.
comedy, little 20-minute show kind of deal,
Yeah.
sitcom.
Well,
Yeah,
what's the skit situation we want to do?
we were talking about doing a Smith and Smith. Y'all's memories are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I drink a lot.
We just talked about this like yesterday. I think the thing we should do first is a Smith and Smith commercial because it would be fun to get like a series of those going because it's it's a running thing with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. That's all it was. I've been talking about it every day in the
So
group.
we're not gonna do the necrophilia.
Yeah,
Serial
we're not
killer.
doing that. We put that on the back burner for a
maybe
while.
in 2030.
Yeah.
This is our project 2030.
And
Yeah.
so they want to make me a fucking necrophiliac. So
We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. I am the guy coming up. Y'all are...
Oh, I get antsy around you for sure.
Yeah, I
Always
don't
got
doubt
my eye on you.
it. I keep my eye on you, too.
That's right.
Yeah. Dibs on the
Well,
love sofa.
I'm glad that we didn't... I'm glad we didn't live stream this debate because it was garbage.
Yeah, I couldn't stay focused at all.
Yeah.
They need more flashing lights on the screen.
You think that's what it is? Music? Need some music before every
Yeah.
time they answer. Have like some kind of dramatic music come on.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah,
Like that, like
have the Kill Tony band behind them playing.
that would be good. But I was for sure thinking of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, that song, doo doo doo, when the lights go down. Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Maybe the next one they'll do some stuff. They'll take our recommendations and do it.
I think that will happen. That will have to happen.
We're getting closer to idiocracy every day.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Camacho.
I fucking hate you for still
Quick,
that
dude.
thing,
I'm quick. Quick.
But here we are.
I'm also always sober, so you can be quick all the time, pretty much.
Well,
I'm just waiting to interrupt everybody all the time.
fucking bushes.
That's right. Well, thank y'all for listening. We're gonna probably end this one.
I'm glad I didn't ask this one.
Nikki's
We're not
going.
going to answer this one, but this presidential debate question is
We'll let y'all mull this over.
about slave reparations.
No, we're not. Yeah.
So this has been Nick Cook,
Josh,
Wes.
and this has been Fine by Me.
check that Patreon out. Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. $6 a month.
Answer.
West Coast, Josh has one leg.